Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, also known as Popeyes, is a chain of fried chicken fast food restaurants formed in 1972. Thank you for your suggestion.
Come on, Olive. Let's get some of me spicy, delicious chicken.
Oh, Popeye, how wonderful. Hi, Popeye.
Gives us a 10-piece bucket of chicken with that good old New Orleans flavor.
And lots of rice dressing. Popeye, could I...
Okay, Olive. Sing it, Goyles.
Love that chicken from Popeye. Love that chicken from Popeye.
The first Popeyes was opened by Al Copeland in June of 1972. A native of New Orleans, Copeland dropped out of 10th grade at age 16 to help support his ailing mother, and after working for some time as a soda jerk, was hired by his older brother, who ran a chain of donut shops. At 18, Copeland sold his car for capital to own his own one-man donut operation, thereby becoming his brother's first franchisee. He quickly turned the shop into the chain's biggest moneymaker and went on to spend 10 modestly successful years in the donut business. The opening of a Kentucky Fried Chicken store in New Orleans in 1966, however, caught Copeland's eye when he saw that KFC, with a shorter workday, was making about 4 times as much money per week as his donut shop. Inspired by KFC's success, Copeland used his donut profits to open a restaurant in 1971 named Chicken on the Run. After 6 months of operation, Chicken on the Run was grossing only $1,100 a week, $900 short of the break-even point, which prompted Copeland to close the store and began planning for another donut shop. In a last-ditch effort at success in the chicken business, however, he chose a spicier Louisiana Cajun-style recipe and reopened the restaurant under the name Popeyes Mighty Good Fried Chicken. He named it after Popeye Doyle, Gene Hackman's character in the film The French Connection, not the comic strip character Popeye the Sailor. In its 3rd week of operation, Copeland's revived chicken restaurant brought in $2,100 of receipts, breaking the profit barrier for the first time. Copeland opened his second Popeyes in New Orleans about a year later, by which time the original location was selling more than $5,000 worth of chicken a week. By the end of 1974, there were 15 Popeyes in operation, and within only 2 years of opening the second Popeyes, the number had grown to 24. Unable to find a bank willing to finance the chain's early expansion, Copeland relied upon the company's own cash flow. In 1975, what would become the company's most popular advertising campaign was launched, featuring the Love That Chicken jingle performed by local musician Dr. John. The jingle became wildly popular in New Orleans, so much so that it was once spontaneously sung in unison by the Superdome crowd at the New Orleans Saints football game. Copeland began franchising Popeyes in 1977 and brought his brother Bill to handle the expansion program. At the time, there were already about 50 company-owned stores in the chain. In 1978, the company nearly folded when the chain's rapid expansion led to overextended credit. Rather than scale back the pace of growth, however, Copeland continued his aggressive marketing tactics and proceeded with developing a strong territorial franchising system. By mid-1978, Popeyes restaurants were located in 28 cities for a total of 125 units, ranging geographically from El Paso to Miami to Detroit. Popeyes advertising continued to emphasize the company's New Orleans roots, featuring local landmarks and the jazz music of Louisiana-based artists. Popeyes menus included, along with its trademark spicy chicken, homemade onion rings, corn on the cob, deep-fried clams, and Louisiana dirty rice dressing. By the early 1980s, Popeyes was the 3rd largest fast food chicken chain, behind KFC and Church's. Under Popeyes' corporate structure, company-owned stores, which numbered 76 in November of 1982, were held by Al Copeland Enterprises, Inc., while the 239 outside-owned franchises were overseen by a subsidiary of Al Copeland Enterprises named Popeyes Famous Fried Chicken and Biscuits. In the Popeyes system, stores were franchised 5 at a time. Buyers paid $25,000 for the first unit and $10,000 each for options on the other 4. Franchises typically operated 15 to 20 restaurants in an area for which they were licensed. By late 1982, Popeyes restaurants were located in 5 countries, with roughly half and half mix between urban and suburban sites. New menu items included chicken tacos, barbecue beans, red beans and rice, and most important, a new biscuit. The biscuit alone was responsible for more than 20% of unit sales increases. In 1983, Popeyes began test marketing breakfast items including grits, eggs and fried potatoes, and sandwiches made with the Popeyes popular biscuit. Beer and wine were also tested in some stores. In 1984, Copeland Enterprises launched a chain of upscale full-service Cajun American restaurants named Copeland's. The same year, the Popeyes chain consisted of about 400 outlets in 35 states and 5 foreign countries, generating sales of $250 million and earnings of $6 million. By 1985, Copeland Enterprises operated about 100 company-owned Popeyes outlets, approximately half of them in the New Orleans area. The chain total of more than 500 stores included locations in Puerto Rico and Kuwait. In 1986, sales for the entire Popeyes system reached $420 million. That same year, Popeyes began to test market Cajun popcorn shrimp in nearly 100 Chicago and New Orleans stores, as well as home delivery in New Orleans and Houston. In 1987, Popeyes introduced a 39-cent miniature chicken sandwich called Little Chickadees, consisting of Cajun-spiced 1-ounce square chicken patties, pickles, and mayonnaise-based sauce, all on a toasted bun. In 1988, Popeyes had grown to 700 units. In February of 1989, Church's agreed to be acquired by Al Copeland Enterprises for $392 million. In November of 1990, Copeland's Enterprises announced itself default on $391 million in debts and that it was in danger of bankruptcy if payment was demanded by one of its lenders. By April of 1991, the company filed for bankruptcy protection. In October of 1992, the court approved a plan by a group of Copeland's creditors that resulted in the creation of America's favorite chicken company, Inc., called AFC, to serve as the new parent company for Popeyes and Church's. In 1993, AFC also entered into an agreement with Canada-based Cara Operations Limited, under which Cara added Church's menu items to more than 160 Harvey's restaurants and committed to opening more than 50 standalone Church's restaurants throughout Canada. Popeyes and Church's chain grew in 1994 and 1995 when AFC opened more than 440 new restaurants. By 1996, the firm showed its first profit in its short existence. America's favorite chicken would change its name to AFC Enterprises, Inc. AFC already had more than 3,300 restaurants overall by the end of the century. They went public in 2001 with an initial public offering. In December of 2004, AFC sold Church's to R Capita. Founder Al Copeland lost Popeyes in the bankruptcy, but he was able to retain the rights to some of Popeyes' recipes and products. He manufactured the spices through his diversified foods and seasonings plants. Sadly, in 2008, founder Al Copeland would pass away from cancer. In 2014, Popeyes announced it had reacquired full control of its seasonings, recipes, and other proprietary food preparation techniques from Diversified Food and Seasonings, which remained under the control of Al Copeland and his estate after the creditor sale of Popeyes to AFC. Popeyes had continued to license the seasonings, recipes, and techniques from them for a yearly spice royalty before buying them outright for $43 million. Today, Popeyes, which is owned by Restaurant Brands International, has over 4,000 locations worldwide, with a total of 2,817 Popeyes locations in the United States. So what do you remember about this place? Leave a comment or a suggestion for a future video below. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Another Eric C. production.